You want to practice your singing, you do, but there are some hurdles to jump over to make that happen, not least of which is finding a private space where your family members, housemates and neighbours won't hear you. So where is the best place to practice singing? I've got a few ideas coming right up.
Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
G'day there, welcome back to Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan. I'm so glad you chose to click on my video. Learning to sing has a number of obstacles for many adult learners. There's the general insecurities we all feel about our voice. We're all living busy lives, so finding the time to regularly practice is an ever-present challenge. And then when we do manage to etch out the time in our diaries, many of us like to find a private space away from other people's listening ears. I've talked about many of the issues facing the developing singer's vocal practice in a previous video, which I'll leave a link to below, but one thing we've never really tackled here on the channel is the genuine challenge of where to practice. So let's first start by stating where not to practice, and I hate to say it because many of you will not like it, but the one place you should not be exercising your voice is in the car. You've possibly heard me talk about this before, but just quickly, the car is a terrible place to practice singing technique because your body alignment is all out of whack, and the surrounding audio landscape invokes the Lombard effect, which will almost certainly cause you to push your voice in an unbalanced manner. Your car can be an excellent place to learn lyrics and listen to new material, but even then I would advise keeping your mental faculties focused on your driving, that is if you're the one behind the wheel. Now, I know that many of you choose the car as a place to sing because it seems like the only place that you can truly be alone. So if singing in the car is out of the question, where can we practice our singing without the fear of listening ears?
Sound check.
Let's start by first talking through what we might need in our practice space. Well, we first need quiet, private space, preferably an average-sized bedroom, but a larger living room will also do the trick. A smaller area may prove beneficial because it may help to generate a slightly better acoustic, which in turn might help you to not over-sing. Gone are the days when you absolutely have to have a keyboard or piano to practice singing. We now have access to tools like my exercise CD, Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials, which provide the singer with guide tracks that can be sung along to. This being said, it can be super helpful to have some type of keyboard in your practice space, even if it's a keyboard app that you've downloaded onto your smartphone. This way, if you ever need to reference a note, you can quickly do so. A mirror is also a handy thing to have in your practice space. This allows you to visually review your alignment and presentation skills in real time. Videoing your practice on your mobile device is also great for analysing your practice time and general technique. But all of these tools are to no avail if you don't feel comfortable in your practice space. So let's now discuss where the best place to practice your singing is, but before we do, take a quick moment to hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video thus far. No matter where you choose to practice, there will always be the common denominator of you and your conscious awareness of others around you. So it's vital for you to actively reflect on this aspect of your practice. The key word here is practice. Remember, you're not practicing to make perfect, you're practicing to make permanent. If perfection is not your goal, then the concern that others might hear your vocal imperfections may be alleviated somewhat. The other thing you might like to consider is how disinterested others are in your singing. So whether they be in the next room, next house, the apartment above or below, they are not going to spend their time sitting and critiquing your every sound. Now this might be hard to hear, but you need to get over yourself and just sing. I encourage my students to talk openly with their family members, housemates and neighbours if necessary about their singing practice. Let them know what you're doing and why they may at times hear funny and unusual sounds coming from your practice space. Open conversations like this also provides you with the opportunity to ask whether there are any times that your practice would cause significant disruption. For example, you might learn that the tenant above you works night shift and sleeps certain hours of the day. Knowing this helps you to schedule your practice appropriately. You might be surprised how supportive people become when you invite them into your journey. Of course, the volume levels of your practice do need to be considered. For instance, practicing your screamo vocals at 1 a.m. in an apartment building will most likely be met with unkind requests to shut up, not to mention a knock on the door from the local authorities. Neighbourly considerations must be accounted for, so choose a time that is socially acceptable and go for it. And if you're practicing with amplification, just make sure you limit your levels so as not to be disruptive regardless of the time of day. There may well still be some of you who cannot bring yourselves to practice with people close by. If this is you, then I would recommend, admittedly as a last resort, doing an online search for the local practice rooms. These soundproof spaces for rent are generally hired out for a small fee and often have some of the equipment we've already outlined. Besides the cost, the downsides of rehearsal spaces like these can be, despite the soundproofing, the volume bleed from other rooms can be distracting, and in my experience, the rooms can be somewhat disheveled, which hinder your capacity to learn. At the end of the day, learning to sing requires regular, consistent, uninhibited practice. Uninhibited. No, we want you to inhabit your practice, uninhibited practice. Where you practice is not as important as just doing the practice, but hopefully today's video helps refine your approach and empowers better training and in turn better singing. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.